Celente for the next 51 minutes. We'll take your calls at the bottom of the hour at 1-800-259-9231. Gerald Celente, you've got the floor. The mainstream media more than ever is taking notice to all the shocking predictions you've made the last 3 years that are unfortunately coming true. Where is the economy? You say revolution's coming. The elite are stealing everything, even nailed down. Gerald Celente, chief of the Trends Forecast Institute there, Trends Research Institute. Tell us what's happening.
Well, we only stick by the facts, as you well know, and we're political atheists. We don't believe in this two-headed one-party system. We don't bow to politicians or genuflect at political altars. We only look at the facts. We just heard Vice President Biden last week, a week and a half ago, say that no one, the truth is, we and everyone else misread the economy. That's his quote. Well, the truth is either he's ignorant and all of those PhDs and credentialed people in the White House are ignorant, or else they're so arrogant that they can only see outside the Beltway, or it can't see outside the Beltway and think that they're the only people that know anything, or else they're lying to us. Those are the only three options, because the truth is, as you well know, we saw it and so did some others. And so all we're doing is we're looking at the facts, Alex. And the facts are that the Obama administration said that $787 billion bailout scheme was going to create 600,000 new jobs by this time. And they said that without the stimulus package, we would see unemployment hit 8% in 2009 and peak at 9% in 2010. That's what they said. Now we have unemployment already, official unemployment, at 9.5%. So they're way off on that. How could they have any credibility? We've lost 2.5 million jobs since Obama has become president. And at very best, if you're going to be generous, they've spent 20% of the stimulus package and created, at best, 150,000 new jobs. So when you extrapolate this forward, the best they can do is come up with about 750,000 new jobs over 2.5 years, whereby they said they were going to create between 3.5 and 4 million jobs, and to wit, we've already lost 7.2 million since this recession, quote, officially began.
Gerald, I was looking at a USA Today Finance Gallup poll, and it showed how Obama got elected at an 83, 84, depending on which one of the graphs. They've had several of these Gallup polls, and now he's dropped to the low 50s, but in some demographics below 50. That is a faster, steeper, further decline than the previous grand champion loser, the peanut farmer from Georgia, back in the 70s, Jimmy Carter. And so the bigger the hype, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. People are finding out it was total betrayal, total crap. George Bush, after Jimmy Carter and Obama, is the third fastest to fall, but luckily a magic crisis popped up 9 months in to kind of boost Bush for a while. But minus a stage crisis or provocation or war, Obama is a political dead duck, and his entire agenda to seize America is failing. But does he have an ace up his sleeve? Is it the crisis is going to be so bad we all can only swim to the life raft of the federal government, even if it's a desert island, covered with government zombies? Or is it a new war? Is it a staged terror attack? I mean, if he's in total free fall, the worst in the last 100 years of polling with presidents, what does this mean?
I think you're one of the most astute people out there talking about this in the way that you're talking about it, because we saw the exact same things as well. And that when you look at the free fall that he's had in the polls and you compare it as to Carter, and then Bush was 1 percentage point higher, summer came, Bush was down in the dumps. People were making fun of him for taking a month-long vacation in Crawford, Texas, as the economy was sinking. Remember, we were just being hit by the dot-com bubble burst, and all of a sudden there was 9/11. So these people come up with schemes undreamed of, or things can just happen. One of the things that we're watching very closely is that the Obama administration is held back in releasing budget projections that were supposed to come out within a week. And now they're going to come out with them after Congress takes its recess in August. That's a big signal to us. So we're looking at that very, very closely, because there may be the shock of our lifetime in those numbers. No one's talking anymore about the green shoots. Remember that load of malarkey that they were spreading around, that money manure that was supposed to be pushing up the economy? So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Anything could happen. They come up with schemes undreamed of. But the reality is, in the final sense, is that, as we've been saying, the world is going to call it the greatest depression. In America, it's going to be called Obamageddon. The schemes that they've come up with these bailouts, buyouts, rescue packages, us owning corrupt companies like Citigroup and General Motors. I love it. General Motors, they brought back this guy Lutz, who was the vice chairman at General Motors. This is a genius, Alex, that came out in 2005, 2006, that said that anyone that thinks that high gasoline prices are going to hurt the sales of SUVs doesn't know what they're talking about. This is a champion they brought back now. Look what's going on with the Goldman Sachs gang. I've said this, and I'll say it again, and I've said it before, and I'll repeat it over and over again. I'm of Italian descent. I've heard enough mafia stories for the rest of my life. If the names on Wall Street were Celente, Caruso, Mondavi, Rossini, Puccini, Abatelli, Puccio, they call it the mafia. Oh, it would be major news every day how the mafia is ripping off the country. You know, we just gave these guys how many billions of dollars, and now they're giving it back to themselves in bonuses. Oh, it would be big story. But you can't call the white shoe boys criminals. You could call them, these Ponzi schemes they talk about, but credit swap fault derivatives and collateral CBOs and SIVs. How about calling them, rather than exotic financial instruments, how about calling them con games and Ponzi schemes?
And grand larceny.
Larceny.
Gerald Celente, there you are. I'm sure you've seen all these clips. Paulson last week, the congressmen were asking him, where's the $200 million you got personally? Is that not a conflict of interest? And how all the regulators were former Goldman Sachs. And he just said, no, it's no conflict of interest. And we were talking before you came on live about the shockingness of actually watching $23.7 trillion stolen in 10 months, greater than the GDP times 2. I mean, I feel like I'm in a dream here, Gerald.
Well, we're writing the Autumn Trends Journal, and this is the way we began it. And when we're writing back from the year 2012, when we're looking to 2009, the greatest crime wave ever to hit America was sweeping across the nation. More lawless than the Wild West, better organized than gangland Chicago, a ruthless mob of financial bandits and political wise guys had taken control of the United States of America. Not a week went by without Wall Street and Washington committing world-class crimes, but all carried out under the cover of law. If perpetrated by individuals, it would have been called robbery, extortion, embezzlement, and fraud, and the perpetrators would have been indicted, hauled into court, and brought to justice. But because politicians and financiers were committing the crimes, it was just called legislation.
Unbelievable. And it seems to be a bottomless pit. I mean, they're seizing the entire economy, manufacturing, the carbon tax.